With Outside the Box, Ben Cominos here on WHBY. Outside the Box is brought to you by Hooper Law Office, providing a pathway to your legacy. As I mentioned just a moment ago, I am currently joined by Justin Krueger. He is running for Tom Nelson's seat for Outagamie County Executive. How are you today, Justin?
I'm real good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Ben.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining us. It was similar to how Kevin Stern reached out as well. You actually emailed me, which makes my life so much easier. I was going to reach out to you, but I appreciate you emailing me saying, let's get on here and talk about the issues, because this is important. Let the voters know exactly who they're voting for and what you're about and all those things. So let's just start on the base level here. Who are you? Well, tell us about yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Ben. I had to reach out to you because of multiple listeners of yours called me and said, hey, you've got to go see Ben on WHBY. So that's why I sent that email. But my name is Justin Krueger. I was born in Appleton. I grew up in Kimberly, and I've lived my adult life in combined locks. I graduated from Xavier High School in Appleton and St. Norbert College in Appear. And when I graduated, I began doing therapy with children with autism. I did that all through college. And then when I graduated, I became a senior therapist. Also, 1 year after I graduated college, I joined the Combined Locks Village Board. I took a leadership training curriculum in school, and it kind of pounded in my head my responsibility to this community. So I left school with that deep sense of public service. So I was 25 years old. I joined the Combined Locks Village Board. I've been there 16 years. A couple years after that, I took out papers and I was appointed to the Fox Valley Technical College Board of Trustees. A little plug, if you are thinking about furthering your education, run. Do not walk to Fox Valley Tech. They have the most functional educational curriculum in this community. One last thing, about 6 years ago, I took out papers and I ran for election, and I was chosen by the voters of Combined Locks and Kimberly to represent them on the Outagamie County Board. It was there that I was put on the Health and Human Services Committee. I am now vice chair of that committee, and that committee really fits my background because I've been serving the special needs community for my entire adult life. After I became a senior therapist, I did that job for 5 years, and then I spent 2 years running a vocational program teaching adults with special needs how to work, how to behave at work, how to show up on time, how to talk to your neighbor when you're working. That was in Wisconsin Avenue in Appleton that I did that. I always had a business sense in the back of my head. I always knew that I wanted to start a business. So in 2012, after about 2 years of preparation, I started Your Neighborhood Living. Your Neighborhood Living is a company that provides residential services, what most people know as group homes. I have 3 group homes with 4 adults with special needs live in each home, and each home is staffed 24 hours a day. To run that operation, it takes about 20 full-time employees, and in a field with high turnover rates, we have been very successful at keeping and maintaining our employees. And that's what I would like to do when elected county executive.
So I'll be honest with you. You took the next question basically right out of my mouth. You and I were speaking a little bit off the air here, and I let you know I have some background with children and adults with special needs as well. And I was going to ask you what experience, because I know what the answer is already. I wanted you to tell the people, though, what does that experience provide you? What have you learned from those experiences that would provide you with the skills for this position? But you did a fantastic job of just laying it out right there. Not only the innate skills that come, the patience, the understanding, the caring that goes into doing something like that. And this is just coming from me here. The idea of getting these people, these individuals, into places of work and functioning in society. If you can do it within those communities, that spells well, I think, for Outagamie County. I'll be honest with you. So just from my own experience, tell me this: what are you hearing on the streets? Why are you getting involved? What are people telling you? If you were to win, what they want to see you do with this position?
Sure, Ben. Thanks. I've been planning for running for Outagamie County executive for maybe 2 years. So I've taken steps to kind of plan and put myself in a position to make that happen. I've joined multiple social groups inside this community to get a sense of what it is that's going on in this county and what the needs are. I have a unique insight being on the Health and Human Services Committee as far as seeing the needs of Outagamie County. The number one need right now, hands down, is the employee issues that are going on with Outagamie County. That is what I'm hearing when I'm knocking on doors and when I'm talking to people that work at Outagamie County, people that have previously worked at Outagamie County, and people considering jobs working for the county, is fix the employee issues. And I have two really easy solutions for that. Fox Valley Technical College implemented a plan called People First. That's where you take the employees and you teach them to take care of themselves before they can take care of the people that they care for. I think Outagamie County needs to implement something like this immediately. People first, because a lot of employees within Health and Human Services are overworked, overburdened, and because of the employee problems, they don't have the support. You don't have enough employees to stretch the workload out. So that's the number one thing to look at, is fix the employees. I feel like I have a spark or a big personality, and I feel like right now one of the biggest issues with Outagamie County is it needs new life. We need someone that can provide a spark or a rebirth to reignite the county. This county used to be a one-stop shop. People used to come here. If I can just get a job at the county, I'll have a great career. It's not that way anymore, and I don't see any reason from the years that I've been watching that it can't be like that again. We need someone at the top that will ignite, inspire, and champion this county. There's another thing that I've been hearing as well, and I don't know if it's just from lack of new leadership at the county level, but it feels like politics has seeped into the Outagamie County Executive's office. People are tired of that, and I come from local government. In local government, there is no fighting. There's getting the work done, paving the roads, picking up the garbage, fixing the sewer pipes. We get on, we do the best we can with the funds we have available, and then we go home. Like autism, most of the issues in local government are black and white. It's either right or it's wrong. We need to pave this road. How are we going to pay for it? Can we pay for it in cash? If not, we're going to wait. So that's one of the things that I've learned working with individuals with autism. Number one, you need a bucket of patience. And when you're a leader, you need that as well. You've got to have the patience. You cannot be easily discouraged because improvement goes slow. And it's very easy for us as humans to get discouraged with things. So that's one, those are two things, two very important things that I feel that I have in working with that population of autism that I want to bring to the county executive's office. There's one more thing that I've been hearing, and it is this. I'm local government. I love everything about it. Best form of government. I've been serving my community locally for 16 years. In talking with other supervisors, trustees, council members of the 35 municipalities in Outagamie County, there is an obvious disconnect between Outagamie County services and local government. And that's a problem because local government, the individuals that serve their residents, they know their residents best. They know who lives there. They know who needs additional help. And the county is not in those conversations. What those municipalities aren't aware of is there's many opportunities where we can collaborate with the county and these local municipalities to cut costs to the taxpayer, such as joining street projects to lower the price of concrete, to bulk purchase garbage cans. There will be multiple municipalities. Everyone is a single-use pickup nowadays. So if we could come together, buy 10,000 instead of 5,000, that will lower costs to the taxpayers. Those are three of the major issues that I'm hearing when I'm knocking on doors, Ben.
Okay, good stuff, comprehensive stuff there. And if anyone wants to join in the conversation, it slipped my mind to say this at the beginning, you can dial in on the Settlers Bank phone lines, 920-281-1150, 920-281-1150, or you can email me a question. I'll read it over the air here. We'll be going for another 10 minutes or so. Let me ask you this. A lot of the conversation about your position ultimately stems back to the airport. At the end of the day, it's been great for what it's done. I myself have not been able to make my way out there yet. I haven't been able to see it, but I've heard nothing about good things. However, it's not perfect. There's talks about expansion. There's talks about where we want to take it from there. You talk about job growth. You talk about bringing people into this area. That's going to go a long way to building those bridges. What are your plans if you could just control exactly what were happening? What would you like to see happen with the airport?
I would like it to expand. Very simple. It needs to expand. The plan that we have in place right now adds 8 or 10 additional places where bigger aircraft can land and passengers can board. We need to have options for these bigger aircraft to come in. That way you have bigger opportunities for Amazon to utilize that airport. FedEx, the big planes have got to get to our airport. It's not a local airport anymore. It is a big entity. It is a large driver of our economic development. And also, residents of this community are no longer driving to Milwaukee or to Chicago to take their vacations. We have a gem here in Appleton, and it is so nice to be able to pull up, go to Florida, come back, get in your car and drive 20 minutes home. I believe that from where we are 5 years ago to where we are now, the residential use of that airport has expanded in leaps and bounds. Abe Weber out there, the director of the airport, he has an amazing story. He came and was a guest speaker at, I believe, last spring's FVTC graduation. I hope Abe's okay with me saying this, but Abe Weber started as an intern at that airport, and he has went up the ladder, working hard, and he's now director for that entire the entire airport, and he's doing an amazing job. I think he's got things going on the right track where we need to continue to expand because right now there's opportunities too. Our business growth is doing great in the Outagamie County area, and they're going to need that infrastructure to maintain their businesses.
All right, great stuff there. Let me ask you this, not in a critical sense, obviously, but as running for the position, you obviously believe you can do it better than the current executive Nelson there, who has held the position for the last 12 years. You already touched on you feel the position has become a little more politicized under his term there. Outside of that, as far as actual meat and potatoes issues, what would be the first thing you'd change about how things have been operating over the last 12 years?
Yes, thank you. Autism, special needs community is near and dear to my heart. If you expand that, county services have the greatest impact on the people that have greatest needs in the community. Okay? So, elderly, behavioral youth, adults with autism, people that are homeless. So, some of us are very, very fortunate to where the extent of our experience with county services ends at plowing the roads, picking up the garbage, sheriff's department, ambulance services, and that's wonderful. But there are individuals within this community whose lives are affected by these services at much greater levels than what the normal resident is. And that's my expertise. So I want to target those groups and how we're serving them. Here's 3 things that I want to do. We need to reignite the discussions for the local youth detention centers. Right now, we're sending our youth that are under 18 that have criminal backgrounds. They're getting sent to Lincoln Hills. That's 90 minutes away. And about 2 years ago, there was a push at the state level to get these local youth detention centers closer to home. If you can keep the individual closer to home, they can maintain their family supports. You send them to the middle of the state, the connection may be there, but it is strained. So when these individuals are graduated, they have got to struggle to be able to get back to their support system. So number one thing I want to focus on day one is we need to serve the residents of our county here in this county, reigniting the local youth detention centers. There's 2 more too. We have behavioral youth. They may have autism, they may have bipolar disorder, they may have trauma. They may have past traumas from, unfortunate situations in their lives. Well, right now, there is not a residential service available to care for these individuals with elevated needs. So they are sent out of state at $600 a day because right now there's no opportunities for them to stay here where their family lives. First day, we're going to be targeting that. I'm going to reach out. I have developed networking connections over the years with my business to service organizations and say, hey, let's get together. Let's find out a way to be able to care for individuals that are behavioral with mental health issues. I want them cared for here in Outagamie County. We keep tax dollars in this county. That way we can have more employees in this county and they can stay within their family support system. One more thing, Ben.
Sure.
All right. This is very unfortunate, but 1 in every 3 shifts at Brewster Village Nursing Home right now is overtime. And that is a huge expense. That is a huge problem. When I ran into overtime with my business, I did one thing and it seemed to work. Overtime's expensive, and in my book, it's a waste of money. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but for the most part, we targeted and we attacked overtime within my company. So, for example, with Brewster Village, 30%, 33% of shifts are overtime. So what that tells me is the starting rate for a CNA is too low because we don't have enough employees to fill the needs that we have. You raise the starting rate, you can expand your employee pool, and you can cut down the cost of the overtime. It's worked countlessly within my business. I fully expect it to work the same way with Brewster Village.
I'm smirking while he's talking here because anyone who listens to the show, you may as well, you want to come on this side and do the next two segments because that basically, you're covering a lot of issues that we talk about on this show here. I got to say, it's really nice to hear so many of your answers go back to your understanding of mental health, the struggles that people go through that may not necessarily be developing normally, which post-COVID has become much more on everyone's radar, but having had experience with this since 2012 kind of sets you a little bit ahead of the game whenever it comes to understanding and addressing a lot of those issues, which it's interesting to hear that type of stuff seep into so many of your answers here, which is just great to see that you truly live or practice what you preach there. I have one more question for you here, which you've somewhat answered, but I'd just be interested if you have any further information on it there. As far as enticing people to come to the area to work, getting them to come, you've already talked about the idea of maybe the starting wage isn't high enough. Can you think of any other aspects that might convince people? Because obviously I'm living proof. There is an interest to come here if the opportunity is here. So how can you get that message out there? What would your approach be?
Great. It all starts at the top. If we can have a county executive that is a cheerleader and a champion for this community, that will trickle down through all departments within the county, that will trickle down through every municipality in this county. We need someone out there cheerleading. We need someone out there saying, hey, this is a great place to live, work, and play. That would be the first thing to do. Developing the airport, expanding that will help as well. But also we need to continue with our capital improvement plan to make sure that the roads are paved properly. You want a nice looking area to come to. And also Outagamie County is so vast, and it varies. You get out of the city, it's gorgeous out in Black Creek, Town of Center, Town of Freedom. You head out in that area and it's more rural and it's quieter and it's a wonderful place to live. I was out crisscrossing the county yesterday with my kids, putting up signs and meeting old friends and connecting with new people. And we have a great way of life here. We have a great history. And one thing that I want to do is I want to protect that small town neighborly feeling. This is a great place to live. People are still friendly and crime is relatively low. I want to be able to attract all individuals to come to this community, but I want to attract them for the reasons that I've just said, which is we are friendly, we are neighborly, and we help each other out.
I love that. I'm speaking with Justin Krueger. He is running for Outagamie County Executive. The primary election will be on February 21st. We will narrow it down to 2 from there. The election will be April 4th. Let me ask you here, we're about to wrap up the conversation. I have fantastic stuff. Really like learning about you here. Is there anything we missed? Is there anything you want the listeners to be aware of? Let them know here.
Yes, thanks, Ben.
Yep.
I do have a few last things. Thank you so much for letting me come on the show. I'd be happy to come back anytime. I am campaigning full time right now. Like I said, I plan to do this for about 2 years. I put my other personal responsibilities in a place where I'm allowed to focus on this full time. So if anyone wants to reach out, I'm happy to talk. Contact me anytime for anything. I am available now. I want to thank you for coming on. I also want to say that I have, there's 2 things that I want to make sure. The 2 things are this. I started a business from scratch. From what was nothing, I figured out what I was good at. I was good at helping the special needs community, and I started a business doing that. I did that for 10 years. 90% of all businesses fail within the first year. And the only way that I was able to succeed in that business was I had to bend over backwards for my employees. I had to do whatever it took to succeed. I can't wait to do that as Outagamie County Executive. Also, the best form of government is local government. I've been doing that for 16 years. if you are interested in public service, I recommend. In fact, I would make it a prerequisite. If you want to start with public service, you start local. Start with your local city, your local town, your local village. You walk into those village halls, those are not politicians. Those are people that deeply care for their community. And the only reason they're sitting in those chairs is to protect the community, to push it into the future. If you are thinking about public service, start local. I've got 16 years experience with that. I also want to say, if you want to come and meet me, I'm having a meet and greet at the WHBY House, 523 West College Avenue on February 2nd from 5 to 8. All are welcome. Please come by. That's February 2nd, 5 to 8, WHBY House. Thanks again for letting me on, Ben.
All right, thank you. And again, I'm speaking with Justin Krueger. If you're looking for any of the information that I was operating off of, or if you want a little bit more, you can go to Krueger for Exec. That's spelled Krueger for exec.com. You can get all the information that's right there. And again, that primary election will be on February 21st, with the general election coming on April 4th. If you came in halfway through this conversation, you want to hear the beginning part of what we were talking about, this will be up on the WHBY website and mobile app, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock today. Go ahead and give it a listen here. It'll be right there with the other challenger as well as the incumbent. All the information there, easily accessible for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was really fun getting to know you, and hopefully we'll chat again. If not from a county executive perspective, most certainly from a work perspective, because I love what you're doing.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much for letting me come on.
I'm so excited here to have met you and have that conversation, of course. Guys, we're going to break down this conversation, and we have so much stuff